of course, hiring is the thread that you're pulling on because you were so successful at it, and it's allowed you to retain employees on average of 9+ years, single-digit turnover. So, tell me about that other path, right? This is the lead generator. Sounds like, but
it's actually could be the whole thing. It could end up being the whole thing because it's so valuable and it's so impactful and it's so accessible. And not everybody needs or wants a long-term engagement out of this type of thing. So this thing could have legs all by itself, to be completely honest. Especially when I pair it with some other modules, because I'm noticing some other trends. So for example, I'll give you a little teaser and the audience a little teaser. What comes after hiring?
Training?
Onboarding and training. Would you say that it's normal in a business, that a small business especially, that a lot of business owners rely on their new hires to figure a lot of things out on their own?
I would say yes. It almost becomes, which even from the very beginning, I just assumed that a lot of stuff that's said on a resume isn't true, or at the very least exaggerated, right?
Sure.
But I think a lot of people think that everything that they see on that resume is the gospel truth. So yes, it does come across as, you said you knew how to do this.
Sure. And not just that, but a lot of businesses, like, they don't necessarily have all of these built out processes and procedures and training manuals and all this kind of stuff. And what they do in lieu of developing those types of materials is they say, this person, in order to hack it here, they're going to need to be able to figure it out. So if they can't figure it out, they're not a good employee.
And they potentially just lost a good employee.
But here's the thing. There's a lot of jobs out there where you're just supposed to do kind of, for lack of better phrasing, you're kind of supposed to just do what you're told or follow the instructions, right? Like if you're working at a call center, you're supposed to follow the script and escalate when they say certain words, like I want to cancel my subscription or whatever. So there's like a decision tree. There's a lot of jobs where you're not required to be able to figure things out because you're just supposed to follow the roadmap. Yes? If your job doesn't require the skill of figuring it out, why does your onboarding need to require the skill of figuring it out? So if I hire somebody that could be amazing at their future state job, but can't figure it out in the beginning because I don't have the proper materials to just point them in the right direction, is that fair? I don't think so. So there's a lot of, for lack of a better term, kind of lazy onboarding and training where a small business owner who also might just be too damn busy might just say, you know what, this person needs to figure it out on their own or they can't hack it here. But you can lose talent that way because there's a lot of good talent out there that figuring it out is not part of the rest of their job. So why does it need to be a part of their training if that's just not a soft skill that they have? Or they don't want to do anything wrong, or they don't want to make a mistake or something like that. Like, this is a person who could be great in their seat for the next 20 years, but you're relying on them to figure out the first 6 months, and that's not always the key to success.
Gotcha.
So my next module is going to be handling onboarding and training in a much more deliberate and laser-focused manner so that the onboarding and training is reflective of the skills that this person needs to be successful over the long term. So we're not just depending on them to figure it out when they don't need to.
Got it, because I like how you put that, because some job descriptions require thinking on your feet and figuring it out.
Yes.
However, if the job that you hired for doesn't require that and you're forcing them to try to figure it out in the very beginning, you could lose that good employee.
Yeah, or they're just not going to be successful, and you're grading them on the wrong scale. You're grading them on a figure it out scale when they're the role you hired them for is an execute these instructions consistently role. You know what I mean?
So, and I like what you said there, because, of course, my company, we have core values.
Yeah.
One of those core values is we have intuition, right? And what we do is, because even though we have intuition, our goal is to take the intuitive process out of everything.
Yes.
So what
I love that.
So what that means is, as soon as we run into an issue, and I think that you should have had intuition.
Yeah.
We immediately stop, we evaluate, and then we put it in our SOPs.
I love that. I love that. And that is a level of discipline that is commendable, and not a lot of small businesses have that, because they may just, listen, businesses that make these, mistakes, it's not because they're bad people. It's these people sometimes people don't have the bandwidth or don't have the skill set. There's a lot of people that start businesses because they're good at what the business does and they're not good at those other things. But I love that approach of saying, wait a second, we just hit a problem. Instead of resolving the problem and just moving forward, let's spend a little bit of time to figure out what caused that problem and how we can avoid it in the future. Mm-hmm. And I said the word spend, but what I really meant is the word invest. Because what's the difference? An investment has a return. And what's the return on that investment of stopping and spending the hour it takes to troubleshoot why that happened and write some stuff down to make sure it doesn't happen again? That'll save you countless hours in the future.
That's powerful, man.
Yeah.